Hello, my name is Heather Littlefield, and I am recording my week summary for the Physics 111 day class. And I will just be reading it directly from my paper. This was the first week of Physics 111. The first week of school is always difficult. New teachers and classmates had no idea what to expect. This class was no different, except that it provided more surprises than usual. Surprises including new ways of teaching, thinking, and learning that I've never experienced before. And although some of the class was routine, the semester overall should be very different. We started the first class with introductions. After David introduced himself, all the classmates got to know each other. We were separated into groups by age, major, working hours, and credit hours. Each time we split, we had to introduce ourselves and learn the names of those around us. After all introductions were completed, we returned to our seats and started learning about the class. We read the syllabus and logged into the course computers. In between classes, we had to log back onto the class website and take our first quiz. This quiz wanted us to define physics and reality and then to determine if physics was real. The next day in class, we had a large discussion about this quiz. It was called a board meeting, and every table had to write down their definitions, and then as a class, we compared and contrasted opinions. The definitions of physics seemed pretty consistent, but the definitions of reality were all extremely different. The class began to open up about the kinds of reality that exist and how every person can see reality differently. Finally, David ended the discussion by telling us how that he feels physics is not real. It is simply a way for us to explain our reality. During this class period, we also began to set up our notebooks, which will become essential throughout the semester. We also took a pre-assessment quiz to determine our previous knowledge of physics and its principles. Finally, we set up our online accounts and took a quiz on a fake compound known as Traxylene. To end the week, we all had to take another quiz on hypothesis, law, and theory definitions. After this first class week, I was very worried as to whether or not I would be able to complete the course. After reading the syllabus, I learned that much of the class is technology-based, and I am not a technological person. The idea of doing podcasts and making movies scares me to death. I am hoping that next week, after David explains everything in detail, my fears will be calmed. Also, I have never taken a class in which there were no tests or percentages, only involvement. I've never had to complete work that is not graded, so there's a lot about this class that is different and sort of scary. Also, the class discussion was slightly surreal. Although I am used to class discussions, I am not used to them including topics like reality. It was interesting to see the class begin to open up, although I think we are all still a little reserved. As we get more comfortable, I think these discussions will become more interesting. Also, taking the pre-assessment quiz made me realize how little I actually know about physics. I was slightly disappointed with myself. And finally, the introduction portion of the class seemed silly at first, but now that it is done, I am glad that I got to know some of my classmates. It helps to realize that there are others who have the same life situations and worries as I do. Overall, the class seems interesting and different. Part of the syllabus required us to pick our own grades. I chose an A, which means that I will have more requirements to fulfill than those who are pursuing a B. So I've laid out quite a test for myself. It has been a long time since I've taken a college class, and now I have chosen the highest grade, so I need to be prepared for the challenge. I also have to be open to learning about all this new technology. Just because I have never used it before does not mean that I can't, it just means that I have to learn something new. I've attempted to take physics in the past to no avail, so I hope that this new approach and learning style will help me conquer physics once and for all. This week introduced me to David's world of physics. I am fearful, nervous, excited, and anxious all at the same time. But the first week is always the worst because you don't know what to expect. Now that all the information has been presented, all I have to do is work hard and be open-minded. Hopefully this semester will be fun and educational and will give me a new respect for physics.